We're going to use the quadratic formula shown here to write the to solve this quadratic equation. So let's first write what our variables are. A equals 2, B equals -9, and C equals 10. So now that we have that, now we can substitute in. So x equals -9 plus or minus the square root of -9 squared minus 4 times 2 times 10 all over 2 times 2. So far it's pretty self-explanatory. We're just substituting in. So let's scroll down a little bit. So now we're going to simplify. So -9 is 9 plus or minus -9 squared is 81. 4 times 2 is 8 times 10 is 80 all over 4. So continuing on simplifying, this is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. So we're going to say x equals 9 plus or minus 1 over 4. This will give us x equals 10 over 4, which equals 5/2, and x equals 8 over 4, which equals 2. So these are our two roots. This is how we would solve this. We would write it as 2 and 5/2. You could also write that at 2.5. And now we're going to check. So again, let's go ahead and just bring this down a little bit so we have a little bit more space. And we have 2x squared minus 9x plus 10 equals 0. So our first, so now we're going to say let x equal 2, and over here we're going to say let x equal 2.5. So for the space of for the sake of space, I'm just going to go ahead and say 2 squared is 4, 2 times 2 is 8, 9 times 2 is 18, plus 10 equals 0. This gives you -10 plus 10 equals 0, and 0 equals 0. That checks. The 2.5 can be a little bit more complicated. So 2 and 2.5 squared gives you 6.25 minus 9 times 2.5, which is which is 12.5. I'm sorry, 22.5 plus 10 equals 0. You can also put a question mark here if you're doing this on your own because you're asking, is this true? 2 times 6.25 is 12.5 minus 22.5 plus 10. This gives you -10 plus 10 equals 0, and 0 equals 0. So that checks out. So now let's look at the second one. So this equation, you actually can't factor without the quadratic equation or without the quadratic formula, which is a perfect example of when it's necessary. So again, let's write out what A, B, and C equal. So A equals 2, B equals -7, and C equals 2. So now we can substitute in. So you're going to get -7 plus or minus -7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 2 all over 2 times 2. So -7 equals 7 plus or minus -7 squared is 49. 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16 all over 4. So the reason why this one, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, because the determinant here, 49 minus 16, is not a perfect square, you cannot factor it. So you're going to get 33 over 4. So the square root of 33 falls between 5 and 6. So we can estimate the square root of 33 to be about 5.6, 5.7. So it's approximately about 5.7. So x equals 7 plus the square root of 33 over 4, and x for the roots, for the zeros, equals 7 minus the square root of 33 over 4. So these are the two factors here. And when so this one, these are your two roots. And then you have the other one, which you actually could have factored the first one if you had wanted to. You could have factored that one by hand. Hope this helps a little bit.